Hi, welcome to I Love the Library. I'm Mary Haney, Director of the Detroit Lakes Public Library, and I'm so glad you could join me today. It's an absolutely wonderful day in Lakes Country, and it's a day to think about, a lot of fun things. So I have some great selections for you today. This is a sample of what I've been reading lately. I read, if left to my own devices, I generally read nonfiction, but I do read novels and review other books for inclusion in the library's book discussion group. So I do read a variety. I tend to listen to fiction, so I listen to books, and like so many of you, I have a different book going in every room of the house and a different audiobook in the car. And if I'm outside on a lovely day, sitting under a tree reading, who knows what I'll read. But this is one I've been reading for quite a while. If you can see, it's a little thick. It's over 1,000 pages. It is what I would call the definitive biography of Beethoven by Jan Swafford. Jan teaches music history at Juilliard and other great music schools in the United States. This is a really terrific study of Beethoven's life. It's very scholarly about the music. I'm afraid my musical talents aren't up to following it all along very well, but he goes into great detail about each major work of Beethoven and what these few bars mean and how that's a motif, I guess the word is, for the piece. And I don't understand all that, but I can turn on a piece of music and listen to it while I'm reading and follow along and kind of catch the drift of what he's saying. But in the meantime, the facts of Beethoven's life are absolutely fascinating. I knew the general outline of his life, but I had no idea that he struggled so terribly with health problems his entire life. That's a wonderful book. Not light reading, but it will take you a while. If you don't want to zip through something, this is the one for you. I really loved it. The next book is one I am treasuring and enjoying so much. It's the adventurous book of outdoor games for boys and girls, and by Scott Struther, and it's so much fun. I grew up in a neighborhood full of children, and every night in the summer when the weather was good, we'd run outside and play games. A few years ago, I was dismayed to find that my nephews didn't know how to play games outside. I taught them how to play Mother May I and Red Light, Green Light, and all those kinds of things. This book has all of those games from your childhood that you remember and can't remember the rules for, and also some you never heard of. Included is one called Sardines, which we never played, but I understand was a British game. It's a variation of hide and seek where you go look for it, and if you find it, you stay there until everybody's piled into the same space, and the last person to find it is the next it. So lots of rules for everything you can think of. Kick the can, capture the flag, all those great books. If you're a family with kids, I would recommend you get this book and take the kids outside and teach them how to play games outside. Great fun. I intend to keep it at my house all summer, so I might have to buy it. Anyway, I've also been reading, this is a great book. This is a memoir, A 50-Year Silence. The author's grandparents were survivors of the Holocaust, and they divorced while quite young. And the granddaughter's trying to get to the root of why they divorced, and the grandfather never spoke grandma's name again. And it turns out that it did all relate to the trauma they suffered in the Holocaust. As we wind up, remembering the end of World War II, this is a fascinating book, a very difficult book to read at times, but also very moving. The Royal We, this is just a fun book. This book is modeled on the life of Kate Middleton and Prince William, only in this case, the Kate Middleton is an American girl who, of course, the prince falls madly in love with. He sweeps her off her feet, takes her to England. She has to get used to English life. So that's a lot of fun. Just a very lighthearted novel. It's getting great reviews, and if you want just something fun to read on the beach, in your backyard, in your hammock, this would be a fun one to have. And then, of course, the audiobooks, they're lots of fun. These are all fiction. Most of them are pretty lighthearted and a lot of fun. You can find all the audiobooks you'd ever want to have at the Detroit Lakes Library, so come on in and check them out.